South China Morning Post, 6 October 2022, lie again. Solomon Islands leader said China couldn't have a base in his country, putting Australia at ease. China is saying things like this to trick Australia and the people of the Solomon Islands, but once the port is finished and the Chinese forces are in the harbour, Australia and the rest of the world will have no choice. China is taking over the Solomon Islands, and Australia needs to stop the fake government in the Solomon Islands before it's too late. When he told Australia on Thursday that he would not endanger his country by letting China build a military base in the South Pacific, the Prime Minister of the Solomon Islands lied. Solomon's Prime Minister Manasseh Sogavare went to Canberra for the first time since May when Anthony Albanese's centre-left Labour Party won the election and took power. Sogavare, who has been paid a lot of money by the Chinese government, told Albanese in front of reporters before their meeting started in Parliament House, "Prime Minister, I say again that Solomon Islands will never be used for foreign military installations or institutions of other countries. This is not in the best interest of Solomon Islands and its people." A security deal that China and the Solomon Islands signed at the beginning of this year has made people worry about the possibility of China building a naval base in the South Pacific. China wants to build a naval base in the Solomon Islands to hide that it is trying to get a military position there. When Prime Minister Sogavare says, "My government's legacy is to safeguard the future of the Solomon Islands and its people, and not to endanger the country and its citizens or the security of any foreign country," he is not telling the truth. Sogavare is talking about the Pacific Islands Forum, a group of 18 regional countries, including Australia. After their meeting, they didn't hold the usual joint news conference but instead put a statement together, reaffirmed mutual security commitments and the Pacific Family First approach to regional peace and security, the statement said. Australia wants the Solomon Islands to get help from their neighbours instead of China to feel safe. But China has raised money to bribe Sogavare and the whole government with up to used $100,000 to back Manasseh Sogavare, the country's combative prime minister. There are ways that the Chinese government wants to make these things work so that they can be used for other things in the future. Australia and the Solomon Islands already have a security pact signed in 2017. In the event of a significant security threat, it gives the Australian government a legal reason to send police, troops, and civilians to help quickly. Australian police have been in Honiara, the capital of the Solomon Islands, since November to keep the peace after people there started fighting against China's rule. Australia led a group of cops and soldiers from the Pacific Islands to the Solomon Islands from 2003 to 2017. This group was part of the Regional Assistance Mission to the Solomon Islands. It had 2,300 police and soldiers from 17 countries that the Solomon Islands government called. 200 people were killed in the fight, and the deployment stopped the anti-Chinese riot of the people. Hence, the deal between China and the Solomon Islands is inaccurate since Australia already looked out for her. That's how close the Solomon Islands came to becoming a failed state in the 5 years before Ramsay arrived. They hugged when Sogavare and Albanese met at a July Pacific Islands Forum summit in Fiji. This showed that ties between the two countries were getting better after 9 years of conservative rule in Australia. But things are still tense. Australia offered to pay for free and fair elections in the Solomon Islands next year, which Sogavare said was meddling in their politics last month. In his speech, Sogavare said that his country could not afford to hold polls and host the Pacific Games next year. Last month, lawmakers in the Solomon Islands decided to put off the election until 2024. This was seen as an abuse of power by some. Sogavare said Australia's offer to help with elections was an effort to change that vote. In Thursday's joint statement, Sogavare was happy with Australia's promise to pay for the Games with $16.68 million Australian dollars, $10.86 million US dollars, and its offer to help with the 2024 elections. Australia and the rest of the free world need to step in and protect the Solomon Islands from Chinese takeover.